listening to pause. We pause for a second or two. This is episode 98. Sleep goal predictability. We live in turbulent times. There is a lot of uncertainty in the air. And at the foundation of everything happening right now is that people are afraid. We all are afraid. I am afraid. And predictability, to have predictability as a goal for anything seems very far away right now. It almost seems like a joke in bad taste to even speak about predictability right now. However, predictability is a useful concept when thinking about our sleep situation. Basically, our sleep, that we sometimes are asleep and that we sometimes are awake, and that we shift from being awake to being asleep, back and forth between these two states of being. So sleep is our way of understanding the natural rhythm of life, of nature, of being here. The rhythm of sleep, the rhythm of being awake is in large part how we understand our being here and now on an intuitive level. Intuitively, sleep, going to sleep, waking up. This is how we understand our times, our surroundings, our home. And right now, our surroundings, our times are turbulent. They are unpredictable. So our sleep situation, for many of us, becomes irregular. We have 3 specific skills for our sleep situation. 3 specific skills which combined give us an understanding of predictability. An understanding of predictability in the sense of being subject to the rhythms of life, to be in this thing. We have specific skill morning, the first one. And our mornings is about if we have a predictable morning routine, then we get a sense of who we are for the day. We get a sense of how it felt to be us during the night, how it felt to be us in our dreams, how it now feels to be us in the morning and going into this day. And this first morning pause will be the first pause to which every other pause during our day points back to. So if we feel a certain way during this morning pause, this morning routine, then the pauses during our day will be greatly influenced by this first pause, which was a continuation of our night's sleep, of our dreams, of our sense of rhythm in life. Our second specific skill for our sleep situation, our rhythm situation, is fog. And fog here means fog in a sort of wide sense. Fog as in when life feels blurry, when life feels foggy, when life feels like it's part unknown, part known, when it is not very distinct, it's not very clear what we have in front of us or within us. This sort of, do I know what I'm doing? Kind of, maybe, maybe not. And every time we go from being awake to being asleep, we pass through a foggy state of mind. And every time we wake up from our sleep, we pass through a foggy state of mind. So this fog is sort of our relationship to the switching nature of this rhythm to life. That night and day has dusk and twilight in between. And at dusk and at twilight, everything living is confused and on the move. You're probably familiar with that animals are always on the move at dusk and at dawn. So fog is a lot about our relationship to the kind of mysterious aspects to life, the unknown aspects, the unconscious aspects, if you will, the spiritual aspects, if you will. Religion often deals with questions of fog, questions of this state when we feel like we are confused but part of something greater at the same time. And lastly, we have specific skill guard. And as you see on the Polaroid for guard, it is a picture of me having my guard up, my two clenched fists up in a guard position. And specific skill guard is about that as biological beings, as people, our bodies are wired, or they are created in a way that when something is threatening us, instinctively we tense up, our guard goes up. And specific skill guard is about that we cannot control our guard as much as we like to think, that being part of nature, our bodies sort of tense up and relax to a great extent on its own accord, that our guard goes up, and it can go up in a matter of a fraction of a second. We can be relaxed and then suddenly something happens, our guard goes up, and then it can take the longest time for our guard to relax and go down on its own. And when you are lying awake, trying to fall asleep, and you're lying there hour upon hour, not falling asleep, that is always due to your guard being up for one reason or another. That your body is not letting your guard down. It's a lot about our surroundings and the place where we are at the moment. And sometimes our guard is constantly up. It's up day after day, and maybe sometimes for years our guard may be up constantly, affecting our sleep situation a lot and affecting our sense of rhythm to life a lot. And we, if our guard is up for a sustained period of time, for maybe years, then our sense of connection with our life, with nature, with other people will be diminished. We might feel quite disconnected. So these three make up our understanding of predictability, or the lack of predictability. In these times, when there is so much turbulence, so much violence, so much unpredictability going around, then our morning will feel stressed. We will frequently feel foggy and become vulnerable to bad influences whilst being in foggy states of mind. We will make bad judgments. And our guard might constantly be up. So not a very nice feeling overall. And this sums up in unpredictability. So we feel disconnected. We do not feel the natural rhythm to our lives. We feel lonely, and when we feel lonely, we feel scared, which again connects back to our core feeling in these times. We feel scared. In this last part of today's episode, we will talk about how to relate to sleep goal predictability. What is a constructive level to put it at, to put our efforts at. And I would say sleep is about our sense of safety. If we do not feel safe, we will not sleep well. And we cannot force ourselves to feel safe. Either we do, spontaneously, or we don't. So, predictability as a goal is not really something we can achieve by intense effort. It doesn't work like that. Once in the midst of turbulence, you are in the turbulence, and there is not much you can do about being in that turbulence. You become part of the turbulence. Your rhythm becomes the rhythm of the turbulence. Sleep goal predictability is not about effort necessarily. Instead, predictability is a goal that is about facing the turbulence we are in, such as it is. That right now life is turbulent. Right now there is unpredictability, not predictability. Our mornings will feel rough. We will often find ourselves in states of fog, confused states, and our guard will be up. We will not feel as loose as we might wish. And this is how it is right now. This is how it is right now. And it will pass. Turbulence always passes. It can take a while, but it will pass. And knowing that this turbulence will pass and that predictability will come again, not now, maybe not for some time, but it will come. And sleep goal predictability is about knowing that predictability will come again. It will come again, even though it is not here now. And facing what really is in front of us, what we really are in the midst of right now, turbulence, facing that as it is, that is predictable in its own sense. That is truthful in its own sense. To not pretend like we are safe when we are not. To not pretend like our guard is down. To not pretend like we feel clear all the time. To not pretend like our mornings are joyful when they're not. Because acknowledging that predictability is gone right now, we feel less lonely. We become less lonely. And when we become less lonely, we become less scared. Still really scared, but less scared. And being a little less scared makes all the difference in turbulent times. We do not need to become completely safe. What we need is just a little bit less fear. Just a little less fear takes us a long way. And one day, this turbulence, this unpredictability will pass and give way for a steady rhythm of predictability. It's not now, but one day. That's it for today. Thank you.